Hey, this is Ryan from Web Eminence. I've reviewed a handful of online booking platforms, and I'm adding another one to the list with 10to8.com. 10to8 is based in the UK and has been around since about 2014. If you're investigating booking platforms, I think you're going to want to watch this video and consider it. After reviewing several booking platforms myself, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with 10to8. So the team at 10to8 offered me this Grow plan, which appears to be one of their most popular plans, or the one they recommend. So they offered it to me so that I could test it out and share this review video with you. I will go over the pricing and these features a little bit later in the video after I go through the platform itself. But for now, just know that the plan that I'm using and showing you in this video is $20 a month, and then they do have a free plan, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So this is what it looks like, the dashboard, when you log in to your 10to8 account. And right away you can notice it looks nice, it's colorful. I'm kind of stickler myself for user interfaces and experience. So usually when I see something that looks nice, it's a signal to me that the actual function of the platform is going to be good too. That's not always the case, but it seems to often be the case. So I like the fact that it looks colorful, it looks user-friendly with this menu on the left, large text, and all these different items here that are kind of guiding new users through some of the processes that they need to go through in order to set up their account. And then it has this kind of mini calendar here. It says this week and gives some of the important items like appointments, bookings, reminders. And then down here it has some reporting items. So I'm going to go through some of these items on the left-hand side menu here. So I'm in the dashboard right now. The next item is a calendar. And you can see it looks pretty nice. It's large and easy to navigate. They have different views here with today and week. And when I look at last week, you see I have a sample booking here. So if I click on that, it pops open on this right side menu. Gives me some details about the booking. It's an initial consultation. And then I can do some, there's some actions down here I can take, like changing it, deleting it, making a payment, sending a message to the customer or client. I'm going to close that. There's a menu up here. I can create another appointment manually within the calendar. So on the back end, you can just create manual appointments. For example, if you're taking appointments over the phone or just manually with clients, you can add them here. And then there's a few other items in this menu like blocking time, changing work hours, and then you could print and export the calendar to Excel. So over on the left under calendar, you can see I'm looking at one staff member. So you can add different staff members to calendars. I haven't quite figured out how maybe staff have different calendars, or I think they're probably all going to be shown on one calendar and then color coded. I only have one staff member in here, so I haven't quite discovered how multiple staff members work. But there's also different rooms, so you can do bookings by location, like an address, and by rooms within the location. And that alone is a pretty distinct feature. I don't recall seeing that. I think some other booking calendars do have that, but it's a pretty nice feature to have and really useful. It's one of those things that certain businesses just need, and they might not be able to use certain booking calendars because that feature just doesn't exist. So they do have that with 10to8. So I did do a little bit more clicking around to discover how the rooms work. It appears that the rooms can only be added on the back end. So if I was to add a manual booking, I can select it and then choose a room. But if someone makes a booking on the calendar themselves using the booking page or a widget on your website, they are not able to choose a room. So they would just choose a location, and then you can click on that booking like I did here, click change, and then assign it to a room. And then it'll show up in the back end. So you could then click on a room after you change this. I could then view a specific room to see the calendar for that room. So that booking I just changed is now showing when I click on room 2. So it's more of internal usage, the rooms, which kind of makes sense. Someone who's booking might not know what the rooms are, but it's more for internal use. So the next item on the left menu is customers, and this is where you're going to see customers that have booked or customers you have manually added. So you can click add customer in order to add a customer manually. And there's 2 example customers in here already. And you see the details are available: name, status, email address, notes, and then it'll list the appointments for that person. You can also import customers, and it looks like you can do that through some of these options here: Google Contacts, Outlook, iCloud, or other CRMs or spreadsheets. And one of the main reasons you'll want to do that, you'll see later, because there's some messaging functions and ways to just blast out messages to your customers. So that would probably be the main reason to get these customers into your database here so that you can message them. So the next item here on the left is Inbox, and it lists messages. I don't have any messages yet. It lists booking requests. So these would be messages from your customers, and then change requests from your customers on their bookings. One thing I've noticed as I click through the dashboard of 10to8.com is they have a lot of helpful information, like that, the guides on the dashboard, and like they just have this prompt here: do you like the page? And we will release more reports like this one. And they're just asking for feedback. So I like that because it shows me that they're continuously trying to improve the product. And then down here it again says, how can we make this page better for you? So you can just give immediate feedback. And then over on the right hand side, they do have a quick chat box here, so you can get quick help if you need it. So the next section is reports, and there's not much going on here. It looks like they typically would have reminders and other messages. There's a focus on no-shows here, so I don't have a lot of information to show you here because I just haven't created a lot of bookings. I'm going to skip online booking and come back to that. Messaging is, like I mentioned, is just a way to change the notifications that go out to people. You can set notifications. And I kind of like this timeline they give you, this visual timeline of what happens, the notifications that go out and reminders to a customer. You could turn them on or off, and I believe you can customize what they say, customize the text. So there's reminders, there's documents that can go out to your clients before appointments, and surveys that can go out. And there's some integration for surveys here with Zapier or SurveyPal, so you can send out surveys to your clients. There's email campaigns as well, so you can send out an email blast to your customer list. Again, like this would be a reason to import your customers, and then you can import them to MailChimp list, it says. So there's a lot of good customization and functionality in the area of messaging and notifications that I haven't quite seen in other platforms. Sometimes it exists in other platforms, but they don't allow you to customize it. They don't make it as user-friendly as it is with 10to8. All right, so now I'm going to jump into the setup section, which is pretty important, especially for new customers who are just setting up the platform. So first you enter all your business details, description, name, email, all that stuff. The next section is services, and my account already had some sample services set up. So I can add a new service here, and it's important to mention that they do have one-to-one services and group booking. So a lot of booking platforms don't have that, and a lot of people are looking for group or class type bookings where multiple people can book in the same slot, but it's limited to a certain number. So they do have that option with 10to8. So you can add a one-to-one service or a group booking. Here's an example of a class that has already been added as a sample. So it's a group booking with 5 people, 1 hour. You can add buffer times. You can set the availability. You can set the location. Color is just the color that shows on the calendar. You can set how much notice is required. There's a direct link to that service, and then you can set pricing. So they do allow payments, which I'll show you in one of the next sections on the left here. So there's some different options for payments: payment optional, payment required, take credit card details on booking. You could set some booking restrictions. So that's everything that's available for a booking. It might be a little bit different for a one-to-one service. So let's look at initial consultation. It looks about to be the same. The only difference would be that it's one person, so you can't set the number of people, that it's limited to. So here you can define the working hours as well. Another thing I like about this platform is they give you access to important things in multiple spots. Like for example, here I can click book, and it takes me to the calendar booking for that item, which was class. So you don't always have to remember the one spot where something was linked to. They seem to do a good job of linking to the important features in multiple spots so that you'll always find what you need pretty easily. So if I head back to services, you see I can set my working hours here. They have holidays and unavailable times. And if I go back to services, I can connect to an external calendar like Google Calendar or Outlook. So it's going to send the bookings to that calendar, and it can also use your calendar to set your available time. So if you have something on your personal or business calendar, it can mark that as a busy time. So here you see you can sync busy times only or all the appointment information. So I believe busy times only means it would just set your availability based on your calendar that you're syncing to, and then all appointment information would mean it's kind of syncing both ways, where it's sending your booking information to your calendar as well. And you can see what I mean by the interlinking from different pages, because I've already now jumped through the availability section and the calendar sync, because those were both linked from services. So now I'm going to go to booking process, which is the next section. And on this page, you can customize the form that is shown on the booking page. So I added 2 new forms as an example. One of them was city, and you can set these as text or yes or no questions. And then I made one first appointment, just a question, and set it as yes or no. They have a link here to take payments, which is part of the booking process, but that's also the next step on the left. And then there's a few settings here, like how bookings are approved, whether or not you send an email, and then setting notifications. So the next section is taking payments, and you can link up with PayPal or Stripe. And then the next section is where you set your locations. So this is a nice feature of 10 to 8, because they give you the opportunity to distinguish the different ways that you do bookings. So there's 3 ways: at a client's address, online or by phone, and then at a business premises. So here's where you would set your address. This is what I'm using now. You set your address, and then you set up rooms. So I've already just added 2 rooms just as an example. And I believe you can rename them. So I think when someone sets a booking, we'll see that in a minute, they can choose the room by name. So the next section is staff, and like I said, I'm only using 1 staff member myself, and you can add multiple staff members in this section. So with different staff members, you can turn their availability, you can change their availability, their working hours, you can turn them on and off here. So if someone's on vacation, you can just turn them off. And they have different color on the calendar, and they have separate permissions as well. And here I can set what services a specific staff member can accept or receive bookings for. The next 2 sections are just about exporting data and importing customers, so just all about data transfer, and I did show you this one already. The next section here is account access, and this would actually be a good place for 10 to 8 to add a little bit more information. I'm not actually sure. I guess you can just change the username here, but I'm not quite sure. So now I want to go back to the online booking section and show you what the booking actually looks like. So if I click on booking page, so this is the URL for the booking page that you'd be able to give out to people, and you can customize the actual URL, but it will have 10to8.com in it. So if I click on that, it takes me to the URL here, 10to8.com/book/this here, which can be customized. You can change this image up here, and then this logo image here. I just added an image just to test it, so you want to use a square image there. And it gives your business name, and it says book an appointment. So people can click on these here, and it gives them some information, and they can then click see times. See, there's some information about the appointment on the left, cancellation policy, and then the calendar is displayed here, and they can click on available times by the day, and they can click see more for a specific day to see more times. And once they select the time, it asks them to enter their details, and here are those 2 extra items that I added. Informational fields on the form. There's a yes/no checkbox for first appointment. I'm going to click next, and it says your appointment is now confirmed. So that's probably where the payment would happen if payments were set up, but I'm not going to test that for this video. So here's what it looks like if there's no available time slots available. I just haven't set availability for that service. So that's how the booking page calendar works. If I were to click edit here, this is where I can edit the URL for the booking page. I can also change the logo and the header image here. And it's taken a while to change that logo for some reason. Here they show you a preview of mobile and full screen, which would just take me back to that page. So the booking form is optimized for mobile viewing. And most of these links and directions up here are just links to other important pages that we've already gone through. Next thing I want to show you is buttons and forms. So you can use the booking page to send your clients and customers to book on that specific page that's hosted by 10 to 8. You can also add a button or a form right to your website. They give you some instructions or codes to add it to a Facebook page, just a generic code that can be added to your website. And there's also a WordPress plugin for those who are using WordPress. You can install the plugin and then insert this shortcode into a page, and it's going to insert your booking form on a page. So I've added a shortcode to a testing WordPress site that I'm using, and you can see how it adds the booking widget to a page. It looks pretty seamless, kind of fits right into this design. I'm not sure if you can customize colors like this green color here. I haven't seen that option yet. So the calendar looks a lot like the calendar that you're looking at on the booking website, but here it is basically embedded into your own website. So that's a good option to give to your clients to create a more seamless and a fluid process and just keep them on your site. So going back to this booking, the buttons and forms page, you can add a button. This is the code to add a button like this to your site. But then you could always just link right to a page on your site that has the booking plugin or the booking widget. And then they have the option here to publicize a private link. So this allows you to, it says to control exactly who can book with you. You can create a service and make it privately bookable by URL and then share that link with someone yourself, or use an email campaign to blast it out to your customers. So that's pretty much everything in the 10 to 8 booking platform as I've seen it. I mean, I've just spent a couple hours kind of going through it. I will click on billing here. I did promise to show you some of the pricing. They did give me access to this Grow plan, so that's what I've been showing you. So you can look at the different features here pretty quickly just at a glance. There is a free plan. It limits you to 100 appointments a month, 2 staff logins. You can't do rooms, and you can't do your own branding. So you can't, I believe that's just adding your own logo and header. So you won't be able to do that on the free plan. You can do that on the basic plan. So basically, as you go up these plans, you can add staff logins, you can add to the number of appointments. The premises are always unlimited. You can add rooms starting in the Grow plan. I didn't show texting, text messaging, but you can change that content starting with the Grow plan. There's more integrations as you move up in the plans, like customer import, for example. With online bookings, it's just all about branding. You don't get that in the free plan. And then there's higher level support as you move up, phone support, 5-hour training. And then looks like the reporting is basically the same, but they do custom reports in the larger enterprise version. So overall, I'd say it's pretty competitive in terms of pricing. A lot of booking platforms do not have a free plan, and a lot of them, if they do, would only have 1 staff login. So the free option would probably work for a lot of people, and then you can upgrade as needed. So before I finish up here, I did want to head back to the messaging section. It's probably important for some of you just because I did miss that you can use text messaging here. So in this timeline where you can customize and turn notifications on or off, you have to click edit, and then you can use this toggle button to turn them on or off. Looks like I can just turn email or text messaging on or off as well. So it's pretty important for a lot of you are looking for text messaging notifications, so they do have that with 10 to 8. So that's pretty much everything with 10 to 8. I'm pretty impressed with it overall. I do like the functionality. It adds a lot of functionality from different booking platforms all into one. So a lot of people look for specific features and need to go to one booking platform. I feel like this one has almost everything in one package, so it's going to work for almost everyone. And the interface is really user-friendly, and it just looks nice. And with the pricing being pretty competitive and affordable, I have to say that I would recommend this pretty highly. So definitely check it out. Maybe just do the free account if you're curious how it works, and if it's going to work for the way that your business takes bookings. Just go ahead and do the free version and see if it's going to work for you. I'd encourage you to check out my blog post that's going to be linked below the video after I post it. I'm going to put more information there. Maybe as they add more features, I might highlight them. Probably will highlight them on my blog post. So make sure to check that blog post, especially for those of you who are watching this in the future when there probably will be some major updates. So make sure to check out my channel, click around to find some of my other booking platform reviews. I'll link to one of those at the end of the video, and we'll see you on the next video.